Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Black Ops 3 In Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the specialist Seraph. I've been working on pronouncing her name properly. I've been calling her Seraph. That's just my old southern pronunciations coming out. But the proper way to say the name is Seraph. You don't put an emphasis on the A, even though that is a very easy thing to do. And like the biblical Seraph, she is a death-dealing machine. A little Bible pro tip for you here. Angels are not the cute women with blonde hair, halos, and wings that fly around. If you actually read the Bible, they are holy, righteous fury, death-dealing machines known for wiping out whole armies and causing nearly unfathomable amounts of fear in the people that they meet. So let's talk about her story. Seraph is the adopted daughter and only official child of the head of a criminal organization known as the 54 Mortals, or 54I. This is the gang that controls post-quarantine Singapore. She was adopted as a refugee child. She grew up very poor and under very brutal tutelage. She learned how to kill, how to hunt, how to, crush people, how to do all these kind of cool things, martial arts and stuff like that, and she's known for being extremely determined in hopes of repaying her father for his kindness. At the age of 17, she was moved up to the rank of Enforcer, which is one of the people that kind of enforces the mob rules amongst themselves, and they have to be extremely skilled in combat to do that. Seraph is pretty much out for herself and out for her clan in a way. She's very dangerous, very determined, very to the job, to the business. A lot of her quotes are about her shutting other people down, telling her, why do you, like for instance, she'll tell Ruin, why do you need to attack more than once? Or when Spectre wants to practice new HVTs, she says you can practice on your own time, now it's time to work. Very, very sort of focused character. Her organization is the one that is most likely responsible for stealing Reaper, bringing him online, and using him for arena combat, if you remember that from that episode. I've had a lot of fans ask me to explain the simulation aspect of the story. In this, I find it very unlikely that Seraph is the spy, nor is she aware that she's inside of a simulation. All of multiplayer, what we're playing here, is part of the Black Ops 3 story. The story is that one person has stolen copies of the direct neural interfaces, or the brains, of these other characters in the Black Ops universe and loaded them into a computer to make them run infinite combat simulations against each other in order to determine who is the best for the job or how to do this particular job. And of all of the brains or people plugged into this simulation, only 2 of the specialists are aware that they are not really live fighting in combat, that it is a computer simulation. Alrighty, I have yammered on enough. Let's talk about her ability, which is combat focus. This one charges at approximately the same time as the other abilities, which in the grand scheme of things is fast. It's especially fast when you run overclock on it, and what it does is that when you activate this, it adds a multiplier or bonus points to your points up to a cap. A lot of people like to think it's a flat 2x or a 3x, but that's not how it works. It has a fixed set of points that rewards you for specific actions, and it does change per game mode. It also does not last the entire time, and that's why I personally don't like this ability, though it does have some very nice uses, is that some people think, okay, I get 15 seconds of 2x score, which isn't a terrible way to think about it, except that you don't get the full 15 seconds. If you notice from my gameplay, as you kill people, it makes your special ability meter tick down faster. It seems like the incentives are all wrong. The faster the better I perform, the faster this ability goes away. And what it essentially is, instead of a multiplier, it's kind of like a point bank that you can access through being a team player, hitting objectives, killing people, whatever it is that you're doing. So don't think about this as a score multiplier. Think about it as sort of a bonus point bank that you can just reach in and pull out of. You want to ask how many points? It's somewhere between 500 and 600. A little bit hard to tell because I have to cap objectives and do a lot of stuff really, really fast. But if you're very busy, you should expect to get about 500 bonus points from this ability. And yes, it does tick down fast when you're not using it, which is kind of frustrating. I personally don't like it because it doesn't perform the way that my brain intuitively thinks it should, and also because the more I use it, the faster it ticks down. And I also don't think it's very good for getting big kill streaks, because at most you can only get about 500 points. However, some friends of mine, including Brass Monkey and Antonio from Trigger Devils, and many people that I meet, love this ability because it is god tier for getting really small streaks. If you want UAV, counter UAV, and care package, you can loop them almost indefinitely. Or UAV, counter UAV, and then Cerberus, a Talon, or something like that. One of the best strategies is actually to just save up your UAV and counter UAV, then call them in and activate the combat focus ability and get bonus points on those and watch it tick up really, really fast toward getting your next streak while you camp in the back of the map. A lot of people also do this with, they run the engineer perk and they call in a lot of care packages, and they use this to earn care packages because, once you capture a flag or do something, you've pretty much already earned it and it's on its way in. So I strongly recommend this if you like going for small streaks. If you like UAV, counter UAV, care package, if you don't really like to work for too much more than a Cerberus, this is going to be very very good for you. I think you'll find it very useful. Of course, it's situational. You can call it in and die, which can be frustrating, but a lot of abilities are like that, so it's on you. If you like hunting big streaks, if you like going for motherships and haters and those kind of things, I don't think it's very useful for the big streaks. Talked about combat focus for a bit, and now let's talk about the Annihilator, which I think is the bread and butter of Seraph. We're going to do a mini review of this, kind of treat it like an in-depth episode. It'll deal 900 damage per shot, which is the highest damage ever in any COD game as far as I'm aware. I can't think of a single weapon that'll deal more damage than this per shot. This is ludicrous, and this is the same amount of damage that it'll deal to score streaks and other things. Super duper high. However, it does have a slow or very slow rate of fire at 180 rounds per minute, and it just doesn't feel quite right. You want to treat it like a revolver and shoot it super fast like a cowboy, but it's more like a pump shotgun. It's very meticulously slow, and I would like to point out the 180 RPM right there is just the fire time. That doesn't even factor in the time that you have to work to cock the trigger on the gun, which can be sometimes inconsistent as well if you sprint off, so do keep that in mind. Aim down sights time is 250 milliseconds, which would be exceedingly slow for a pistol. However, it's right about in line for assault rifles or maybe some of the light machine guns, so you're going to have to treat this like a heavy weapon instead of like a pistol. And it actually does have aim assist. Back in the beta I said there was no aim assist. A lot of players will say that there's no aim assist. It might have lower than average aim assist, but I do want to point out that the weapon is coded to have aim assist on it, at least on console. It's also coded to have high wall penetration like the light machine guns, but for the life of me I never ever get one-hit kills through a wall. I personally feel that it is terrible for wall banging, going for wall bangs or dealing damage through the wall, but the code says it has high wall penetration. I highly advise you guys to do your own testing and get your own feel for it, but I almost never go for wall bangs with this weapon. It has a higher than average hipfire spread for a pistol. It would be more in line like with an assault rifle or the Dingo or something like that. A little bit worse than submachine guns actually. So as long as you don't expect pistol hipfire spread or treat it like a pistol, it should perform very well. And because you're shooting so slow in its special weapon, it has extremely low recoil. This makes it somewhat easy to use. It's a little bit fluky. It's kind of bad if you miss maybe more than 2 shots in a row. It's not as easy to use as the Scythe or the gravity spikes. It does take some skill, but I feel that the Annihilator is a top tier weapon in Black Ops 3, or top tier special weapon, because it kills in one shot all the way across the map at any range. It has aim assist. It's like a pocket sniper that you can pull out with 4 shots, because you can literally snipe people with this. It's also my favorite thing for shredding kill streaks. Nothing that I know of kills kill streaks faster than the Annihilator. You can kill a Cerberus in 2 or 3 shots. Wraith is 3 shots. You can kill a mothership with 6 shots from this weapon. You can, no joke, just use your whole mag and take down a mothership. Extremely effective at that. One-shotting UAVs, counter UAVs. It apparently does punch through walls, so I have terrible luck with it. It charges a little bit slow, I'll admit that, but it charges at the same time that most of the other weapons do, so the trade-off isn't very much. It's not like you would be charging faster with anything except for the Ripper. In competitive, it's a little bit kind of all or nothing. I know that not all the guys like using it, but it's great for pubs. I think it could definitely be good for some competitive like Search and Destroy or something like that. And the Annihilator is just fantastic. I do not like combat focus. I think it's one of the worst abilities in the game, but I do love the Annihilator, and I think it's one of the absolute best weapons in the game, and especially if you play a little bit more conservative and don't treat it like a pistol and just sit back and treat it like a really powerful sniper rifle, you will massacre people, because you can one-shot them anywhere. Oh, one last thing I'd like to point out. The weapon is beautiful. You don't really see this in first person. This is a screenshot that I grabbed from the COD wiki, but if you ever see it in third person in theater mode or anything, beautiful, beautiful special weapon. It just doesn't quite, your perspective on it doesn't show the amount of detail that went into making this thing. Guys, that is all for this in-depth episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. The previous episode was on Gung Ho versus Fast Hands, and the next episode I have to keep secret for now. Drifter out.